Olden Polynice, who is awesome. And I got to tell you, I'm not ratting on the guy, Rob. I just want to put a little bug in your ear. You know who Olden was a little skeptical of in his rookie season was one Victor Wembanyama. He was not buying the hype. He said, I don't think it's going to happen immediately for the guy. So I'm curious what he's got to say because Wemby's crushing it in his rookie season here.
He is. The big last night, the upset win of OKC. People took notice of that, right? Because the one thing that I'm going to say, and they won 132 to 118. Wemby, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 blocks, 2 steals. And he made 5 of 7 3-pointers. And that was outdueling Chet Holmgren. So that's looks like that race is over. But here's the thing. And I don't know. Chris and I go back, he's all about Wemby, and I get all that and the talent. But what I can't get over is how poorly the team is, even with the generational talent. Like, I didn't expect them to make the playoffs, Brian. I didn't expect them to be 500. But when they lost 18 in a row with this kid, they're worse than they were a year ago. They're on pace to win like 17 games, 16 or 17 games. Like, how could you have a guy of this ilk and you can't win more than that? Like, that's the part that shocks me.
I'm with you on that, and I can't help but go straight to Greg Popovich.
Yeah, I'm with you. Before you go there, I do want you to know that, I have a song now for Wemby,
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. I think we got it.
Everyone knows it's Wemby.
This is when it comes to the MVP. I mean, the Rookie of the Year. Everyone it's Wemby. No?
I mean, how are you wasting your time on the Odd Couple here, Rob? My goodness, you should be on a stage singing to millions.
Everyone knows it's Wemby.
How has Adele not booked you as an opening actor? Forget opening. She should be opening for you.
Even Steve just Steve, no? Everyone knows it's Wemby. Okay.
Everyone knows it's Wemby.
All right, here we go. So you want to go to Pop, and I love to hear this because they should be better than they are.
Dude, they are 12-48 with Victor Wembanyama living up. Remember the hype, Rob? When he was about to be drafted and before he played one NBA game, the hype was insane. And he's lived up to it. And you're 12-48? And Greg Popovich is a highly decorated coach. There have been some that have talked about him as one of, if not the best ever. And they are 12-48. With Victor Wembanyama, who has hit the ground running. I can't help but think of Bill Belichick, Rob. Bill Belichick must hear the things that are said about Greg Popovich and think, why don't they say that about me? Like, when he didn't have the talent with the Patriots in these last couple of years, all he did was get crushed. Meanwhile, Pop, he's got Wemby, who's killing it, and it doesn't matter. They're still 12-48. What is Pop doing? I'm not expecting them to be like the 4 seed in the West or something. But can you get us 20 wins with a guy who's playing at that level?
He's supposed to be a generational talent. I totally agree. I just don't even get it. Like Pop should resign at the end of the year. Step down. Give his money back. Is okay? Is that too much?
I mean, that's probably too much, Rob.
Why? Nick Saban quit. He had years on his contract. He just decided, I'm done. He called it retirement, but he quit. He didn't want to take part anymore in college football the way it's set up. Would you agree with that?
It was his time to move on. You know?
All right, so it's time for Pop. I don't care what the contract is. Step down.
Look, man, he's just not even close to getting it done.
There's no way they should be worse than they were a year ago without him. I just don't understand it. And Chris poo-pooed it. I don't know. I say all the time, if he's supposed to be this generational talent, somebody we've never seen and all this stuff, please give me the sequence when Michael Jordan lost 18 in a row, or LeBron James, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or anybody. Nobody. What? Lose 18 in a row being on the court? Brian, do you get what I'm saying?
I don't think it's a Wemby thing.
But 18 in a row? He can't win some games on his own?
I mean, look.
No?
I think it's partially a Pop thing, and it's definitely a supporting cast thing. I don't think this is a Wemby thing. Because the guy's doing work. When you're putting up these stat lines, you mentioned it, what he did against OKC last night. It was insane what he did. He's had numerous games where he's just filled the stat sheet, and they're still losing. So I don't think this is a Wemby thing. If I'm a Spurs fan, I'm elated. This guy has lived up to the hype already, which was insane to begin with. So I think it's a Pop thing. I think it's a supporting cast thing. I don't think this is a Wemby thing at all, but could you imagine this, Rob? I know it's a different sport.
Now this is where I'm going to push back on you.
Okay,
because you can't. If they were winning, then you would give Wemby credit. You can't say that it's not a Wemby thing at all.
It's not
sorry.
a Wemby thing.
It is.
It's not when he's giving you that much production.
No,
it's not a Wemby thing.
Yeah, but numbers without winning at some point, numbers have to turn into actual wins, and so you can't say, oh, you love his numbers and the losing's not his fault, because if they were winning and Wemby was putting up those numbers, you would give him credit and say, look at what this guy has done to turn it around. So he can't be exonerated that he's not a part of it. He's a part of it.
I'm still saying that. I'm still saying, look at what Wemby is doing. He's doing work. I don't know what else the guy can do with the minutes that he's getting. He's crushing it. He's going to win the Rookie of the Year easily.
But putting up numbers, like, they could be empty. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're right. He's putting up numbers. I'm not saying he can't play. He's not a special talent. But just putting up empty calories, empty numbers, they don't mean a lot. That's what Matthew Stafford did in Detroit for 12, 13 years.
I'm glad you brought that up. Right, because sometimes the star player gets blamed for the bums around him. When the bums around him,
you mean like Calvin Johnson, who went to the Hall of Fame?
He's not a bum. How about their defense?
And Ndamukong Suh, is that the bum?
How about their defense collectively? Every team has a couple of dudes that are really good players, but collectively their defense was awful. Special teams awful. Right?
Matthew Stafford was awful
Running
too.
Game,
he was awful too.
No, he wasn't.
He was too.
Crazy.
I watched all of his games from game one. Are you kidding?
Matthew Stafford is not awful. That's just, I don't know what that is. I don't know
all
if
of his numbers. All of his numbers came when they were down 21-0, and the defense was soft. I saw it.
Look at Matthew Stafford going from Detroit, mostly surrounded by a bum supporting cast collectively, and going to the Rams in year one and winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he threw a touchdown that was dropped that to totally change the way you look at Matthew Stafford. What is his name? Tart? What was his name?
Oh, yeah, Jaquaski over there?
Yeah, who's out of the league now after dropping a short interception that probably – that's right.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, let's get back to Wemby, okay?
Right. But Wemby, what I'm saying is sometimes the star player gets blamed unnecessarily for the other guys around him not getting it done. Right? How is it Wemby's fault when he's putting up those numbers? It's the other guy's fault. It's not his fault that they're losing games left and right.
All I'm going to say is here we go, okay? All I'm going to say to you, Brian, is when it comes to the NBA Rookie of the Year,
everyone knows it's Wemby.
There you go. Now you're making some sense. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year.
He will, because they just look at numbers. I get all that, but there's more to it, and that's my issue.
Okay, how about this? He just got the better of Chet Holmgren the other night, okay? You put Wemby with OKC and SGA and Jalen Williams and all the other guys they have. You give them the torture chamber over there. You think the record is better?
The difference, is before that game they were 1-8, and Chet is not a generational talent. Nobody has him on par with Wemby. Okay,
great,
so you're talking about Wemby as something that we've never seen. That's what I was told. But I've never seen losing like this either.
Okay, not a generational talent in Chet Holmgren. Look at their record. One of the best records in the West because of the supporting cast. If you put Wemby there, they'd be doing as much and probably more.
All right, here we go.
So the point is, it's not on Wemby. It's on the rest of the guys around him on the Spurs.
Because Wemby, he's getting the numbers. But do they have to turn into wins at some point to validate them or validate what we're watching? Or it doesn't matter. Just put up numbers. 877-99 on Fox. I'm sure, Brian, people want to jump in.
They do. Let's go to CJ in California. CJ, you're on The Odd Couple. What's going on?
What's up, B? What's up, Rob?
How are you?
So look, Rob, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Great.
So look, Rob, I've heard you all week, all month railing on Wemby, right?
Everyone knows it's Wemby. Okay, go ahead.
Heard you railing on him. So answer me this question, right? You say, the numbers have to turn into wins. They're empty calories. He's playing, 26, 28 minutes a night. What would San Antonio's record be if he wasn't on the team and he wasn't putting in those
Actually,
numbers?
they were better last year without him. This record would be better. They were better
I'm not
last
asking
year.
about last
No,
year.
but I'm trying to tell you, without him last year, they weren't on pace to win 16 games.
We're not talking about last year. We're talking about this year. It's a different season.
No, but
every season is a new season.
I get it, but they can't be worse with a generational talent. It doesn't make sense.
You had Eddie House on earlier. You said that same thing, and he told you that was last year. This is a different year. You can't quote last year and say, well, they'd be better.
You're right. You're right. So let's not talk about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl last year because that was last year, right? Didn't matter. Okay, I got you. All right, thanks for the call. 877-99 on Fox. If we don't talk about last year, come on. That doesn't even make sense, Brian, right? Don't talk about the Chiefs last year. It doesn't matter that they won the Super Bowl last year. Really? Okay.
I mean, look, he's just talking about this season, Rob. You don't want to hear him. He's like, what would their record be? I know it's awful with Wemby, but if just imagine they didn't have him. What
I don't know. They had a better
season?
record last year. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be better.
They'd be a single-digit win team, right? Maybe for the entire season they'd win single digits. I can't get over that. How do you have – what is Pop doing? That's my main thing. How does he have this guy doing that, putting up those numbers, and you
not
still only
winning?
have 12 wins?
Right. You could put a can of soda pop there and probably win as many games.
We got Mike in Augusta, Georgia. He's on The Odd Couple. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, Rob and B? So
what's up?
I think the blame goes to both of them. Pop's style of coaching with the ball movement, it's great, but he hadn't really done much since he had generational talents in Tim Duncan and those guys.
Yep.
He didn't really do all that great with the Olympic team. They won the gold medal, but they struggled to do it with all that talent. And I think Wemby doesn't play winning basketball, and Pop allows it.
Thank you.
There's nothing impressive about a 7'4" guy shooting a logo 3. He can average. His ceiling is wilt. His floor should be Ralph Sampson. He should be down low and average 40 points a game. It just doesn't make sense when I watch him play.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's
Thank
not
you.
today's NBA, Rob.
But it doesn't. Who's going to stop him there? Who's going to stop him? He can't be stopped. Brian,
Wembanyama is not built like Patrick Ewing. What
big centers are there to be in his way? Just tell me, because I don't know of any.
Jokic.
Okay,
Jokic is a big center that's going to be in his way. Like, just because Karl Anthony Towns shoots threes doesn't mean he doesn't play winning basketball. The game has evolved. It's not like
they're on pace to win 16 games.
But it's not the old school, you got to go on the block. If you're not willing to do that, like Ewing or the Dream,
I don't
you're
want
not
to
playing
go back to
basketball.
the 90s, but you got to do stuff. You got to win. And this is why we play. It's about winning, not putting up stats. That's all I'm saying. He can have all these stats all you want. And if his teams don't win, none of it will matter, Brian.
But
it won't.
That's more on the other guys than him. They've got Jeremy Sohan, who was the point guard for most of the season. It's a complete experiment. You know what I mean? He's not a point guard at all.
Does he need a point guard, though? Wemby could dribble the ball down court and do everything with it. Well, why does he need a point guard, right?
You need a point guard in today's NBA.
Okay.
Look at the magnificent point guards you have around the league, and you've got Sohan that's playing point that was a forward at Baylor. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
877-99 on Fox.
Steve is in Chicago. He's on The Odd Couple. What's on your mind, Steve?
Hey guys, how you doing? You know, you're right. Generational talent makes the team better. I'm 70 years old. I remember when Wilt came to the league, 59-60.
Yep.
He took the 76ers to the conference finals against Boston. And that dude could run the floor like a maniac. And he led the league in assists when nobody said he could do it in 71-72 by playing the point center like evolving in the game right now. But
we wish your phone keeps clicking in and out. We wish we had a better line. It's just hard to listen to. But his point is, and nobody said that. I'm not being unrealistic, Brian. I didn't say they need to make the playoffs. They need to be 500. But they shouldn't be going for 16 wins out of 82 games. I think that's ridiculous with his talent. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to put it all on Pop, then Pop needs to resign or be fired.
But that's how
seriously.
I look at it.
Seriously.
That's how if Wemby was, shooting 25% from three, and like 38% from the field, and he's a turnover machine, and his defense isn't all it's cracked up to be, and he's just getting dominated on the block. Okay, fine. But he's doing work. He's putting up numbers, and the record still sucks. That's on Pop and the supporting cast way more than it is on Wemby, right? I'm not pointing the finger at him. I'm pointing the finger at everybody else.